pleasant good afternoon. It is a lovely Thursday and the time is 14:30, and you know how we do it every single Thursday at 14:30. We bring you this brand new youth care talk show where we get to have conversations around reproductive health and so on. Today on the show we will be looking at pregnancy prevention, and we'll be diving into that a little later on. But before we do, remember that you're watching us on Diamond TV channel 271 and Go TV channel 20. That is in Zimbabwe, Malawi, Botswana, as well as Namibia. And if you're catching us, thank you very much for joining us. And we're streaming live right now on Diamond TV Zambia. That is on Facebook. And we are glad that you are just tuned in this very afternoon. Last week's episode was a huge success, and we just want to thank you. This program is powered by Copper Rose Zambia. So they're the ones that are our friends currently helping us do this program. But as I mentioned, our topic today is pregnancy prevention, and we will be talking about this with Madam Josephine 𝐀𝐤𝐬𝐬𝐢. Let me get it right. 𝐀𝐤𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 Mbomfana. She's a midwife and a master trainer in adolescent health. So we're going to be able to get into a conversation with her. But before we get into our conversation, I always take the time to go through the streets, to go through universities, and take the time to converse with different students, different young people about the subjects that we're looking at. Today, we take a stroll to Yunza. Let's take a look at what young people have to say about pregnancy prevention. Well, today promises to be an interesting day. I am right here at the University of Zambia, and I'm hoping to catch some students to talk to about pregnancy prevention, what they would do if they found out their girlfriend is pregnant. Promises to be an interesting one indeed, because I'm planning to talk to the men. Let's get it. Away. Hey, I was this close. I was this close. Can stop, Kotso. Hi guys, how are you?
Okay, we're okay. How are you?
I'm good. My name is George. We're from Diamond TV. We're just doing a brief research, or rather doing brief research on pregnancy prevention. And I wanted to ask you guys a question.
If my girl told me she was pregnant,
I'll just be like shocked, probably think about the farthest place to go get milk, and then probably come back when they're a basketball player.
Chai!
Honestly, if I found out my girlfriend was pregnant, I'd have to take responsibility. As scary as it is, I played a role in creating that child, so I would honestly have to take up responsibility.
first of all, being at my age, I would probably think of either using any pills to give her to abort. I'm not ready for that, honestly. Yeah, but the moral thing to do is let her keep the child.
Because we live in a generation in which men don't want to take up responsibility for their actions. I find it quite unfair to create a baby and then let your girlfriend figure out the rest.
Right now, I'm not in a position to have a child. But considering the fact that it would be my first child, and based off my religion, I'm Christian, and we know what the Bible says about abortion, I would consider keeping the child.
Contraception, I think it's okay. It helps with population control.
Jesus is Lord!
Well, they're needed because, like, let's be realistic.
Prevention is better than cure. Would better prevent rather than curing.
It helps with population control, and it just avoids unwanted pregnancies and stuff. Less street kids.
Not everybody is the type to abstain, and not everybody is religious in that way. So we're better off not having unwanted pregnancies and diseases compared to it being called like a godly wrath upon the people, that why you receive this disease because you're promiscuous in this way. You're better off not having those things on the streets in general. Not the kids. I mean the kids too, but just in general.
Continue.
On issues regarding like sexual intercourse, personally as at now, even if I were to be in a relationship,
And that is what the Yunza students have got to say. Pretty interesting sentiments that are coming through. Some are highly controversial, but that's what we aim to dive into right here on the Youth Care Talk Show. Now, if you want to be part of the show, there is a number that is on the screen right now that you could be able to call us on at any particular point in the show as we have our conversations today. Now, earlier on, I mentioned that we are joined by a midwife and a master trainer in adolescent health, and that That happens to be Madam Josephine Bomfana, and we're just going to dive into the conversation today. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. I hope you're having a great afternoon so far.
Yes, I am.
All right, awesome. Now let's quickly get into our subject of study. Now we're looking at pregnancy prevention, and one thing that we want to be able to understand, if rather, let me ask, can you help us as young people, can you help me as a young person choose a contraception method that best suits my lifestyle and health needs? And also, are there any potential side effects or health risks that are associated with specific contraception methods?
Thank you very much, George. That's a very wonderful question that you have asked. Indeed, I can help you choose a method that can suit your needs. And let me first of all begin by mentioning to say, when we are helping young people to choose the contraceptive method that they want to use, there are 4 considerations that have to be made. The first one being, we look at the medical eligibility. What I mean here, we look at this person. Are there any conditions that will contradict us from giving this type of service to the young person? And generally speaking, when you look at young people, they are healthy, most of them. So if one is healthy, then it means that we can give any available method that we have. The second consideration is actually the effectiveness in preventing pregnancy as well as HIV and STIs. As you may be aware, even from that script that we saw, the young people at UNZA, when we were talking about contraceptives, they were all considering pregnancy, but none of them was looking at the issue of HIV, you know? And that's a main problem that we have. We are seeing a number of young people getting infected with HIV and STIs. And so when we are giving contraceptives to young people, we should always consider a method that will prevent pregnancy as well as HIV. Yeah. And then the third one that we consider is the social circumstance of this young person, the lifestyle. There are certain methods that will not be suitable to everyone. For example, if one has got a multiple sexual partners, we wouldn't want to give loop, because that will cause that person to have STIs, and we avoid that. And then we also look at the conformity of the laws, the prevailing laws in the land. As you may be aware, when you go through your internet, I know that young people read a lot.
Yes.
And so you see that there are a number of methods, but it's not every method that we are using here in Zambia. So methods are selected according to the laws in the land. So that we are very comfortable. We can actually help a young person to choose the method of choice.
Now, we want to be able to understand one thing. You mentioned the different methods that apply to different kinds of people. How does each contraception method work, and what is the success rate? Let's say as a young person you have sex today and you say you're going to take maybe a morning after pill, which is a type of contraceptive, and so on and so forth. How effective is that that method, and how exactly does it work, and what should one do, especially if they miss a dose or fail to use a contraception properly?
Okay, so what happens with the morning after pill that is used by one who has been exposed to unprotected sex and they're scared that they might be pregnant?
Yes.
So what should be done is within the 72 hours, the pill has to be taken. And it's not supposed to be a method that you use continuously, but it's just in an emergency. Thereafter, you are supposed to choose a method that you're going to use continuously. And the success rate with this type of method is about 95%. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, getting down to the swing of things, we're asking the question, and that's one of the questions that we're asking, that I was asking the students at UNZA there. Is abstinence still possible to prevent pregnancy? And if so, there's one of the people, one of the students who mentioned that youths are burning with a passion.
I got it.
Yes, they're burning with a passion. And once they're burning with a passion, they want to do things because they love each other, as he put it. How does one work around a whole situation where people are having sex and then others are calling for abstinence? Is it still possible in this day and age?
Yes, it's very possible. And I really loved that part when the young person was talking about it. You know, when you look at the methods that we have, One, the first one that we needed to emphasize on is actually delaying sexual debut, delaying the first time that one is having sex. Why? Because this is effective against pregnancy and also against STIs and HIV. So in there, one will not have the pressure to say, no, I could be pregnant. They will not be thinking about that. But there are challenges with it because of peer pressure, you know. One can have a girlfriend and then they are not having sex. There will be pressure there. But there are other mechanisms that one may use to counteract the pressure. And then when you talked about abstinence can be used by both a person that has never started having sex or by someone that has already engaged in sex but they want to abstain this time around. This method is very effective when used correctly and consistently. You know what I mean, George? What happens in relationships, you would find that today they will say, okay, we'll abstain, and the next time they are not abstaining at all. And if they don't use any other protection, then pregnancy will be there. So with this kind of method, abstinence, if it's not possible to use it, then someone has to look for another method, like maybe using a condom, which is about 98-99% effective. They can use that as well. So with condoms, there are female condoms, male condoms, but what is important is communication. How do they talk? You need to be assertive enough as a female partner, as a male partner. You need to understand each other and reach a mutual agreement where you're going to say, no, we are not ready for sex because we have to concentrate on school or we have to concentrate on this project. So it's quite possible, yes.
All right. So we're going to take our first set of commercials. On the other side, we'll continue our conversation. Stay tuned to the Youth Care Talk Show.
I'm ready to go. Now tell me, do you feel the flow?
When you feeling low, you can use some yellow to brighten up the show. When I wanna get fired up, all I do is get the red.
Orange makes me feel alright and happy all the way.
Everybody needs some color in their life. Makes you happy, makes you feel alright.
Introducing the new Fruiticana smoothie in 4 exciting flavors. Fruiticana smoothie, color your mood.
Do you promise to always walk with me so neither of us is ever alone again?
Will you love and care for me the same, even if we're different?
Will you continue to tell me stories, even if it's the same one, again and again?
Would you stay with me in marriage, promising to love and cherish each other, no matter what life throws at us?
And do you promise to show me what family truly means?
We do. For every Zambian family that's different, we do protection the same. We do it simply. We do it for all. We do life and help others get the most out of it. We do family with you. For every promise made to Zambian families, we do all we can to protect it.
back. This is the Youth Care Show live on Diamond TV. We come your way every single Thursday at 14:30. Myself and my co-host Mulenga, we bring this show to you, and we have different conversations, candid conversations about sex, reproductive health, and everything in between, the uncomfortable stuff. So right now we're going to take a few calls, and if you have a call before we continue with our conversation, I heard our line was so busy a few seconds ago, but if you have a call and you want to ask our dearest guest right here today, please be sure to call the number that is on the screen, and you can be able to have a conversation with us. Also, be sure to remember that you can leave a comment on our Facebook platform. I've seen the comments, they are overwhelming. Let's keep them going. I've seen some people saying abstinence is not possible. Some are saying abstinence is possible. What are your thoughts? What do you think? So if you have a call, be sure to call in. But at this juncture, Madam Josephine and I are going to watch a clip that we did. It's called The Diary Room, and we were joined by a young lady who is under corporals, who got pregnant at the age of 16 into 17, and she gets to share her story. Let's take a look. Then you tell us your experience.
So I got pregnant at an early age of 17. It wasn't that easy, but I would love to share my experience with you. So I got pregnant at an early age of 17 years when I was still at school and I was in grade 9. I was disowned by my own dad for getting pregnant at an early age. I faced a lot of criticism from family members, friends. Above all, it wasn't an easy thing for me. Being a teenager and getting pregnant while at school, it was very tough. So I navigated my way. Mom was with me by that trying period, though dad disowned me a bit because I disappointed him getting pregnant at an early age when I was in grade 9, but I managed to write my grade 9, passed, went back to school. When I didn't go to school grade 10, term 1. I went back to school when I was in grade 10, term 2. But it wasn't easy because I went through a lot of challenges. I passed through an operation. The child was a premature, so it was very difficult for me to even concentrate at school, but I put through. So what was going on in my mind when I discovered that I was pregnant? I called the so-called man that impregnated me. I told him I was pregnant. Then his response was, I should not tell anyone till I write my exams. By then I was in my final year of me writing my grade 9. So I hid the pregnancy from my parents, everyone. It was just a secret between me and my partner that got me pregnant. Unfortunately, we are not in communication with my baby daddy. He's married, happily married to someone else. So we are not in contact with him. If I had to turn back the times, I would encourage each and every teenager to concentrate with education. As long as you have someone who is supporting you in terms of school, I would encourage you to concentrate with your education. Education is the key to success. I'm lucky. I had very supportive parents, though I lost my dad, but I completed my education. I never dropped out of school. I only never went to school grade 10, term 1. So I would encourage each and every teenager to concentrate while you still have someone to sponsor you with education.
And that is Loveness Lubengo's story, and I can see you're tearing up. But let me hear it from you. Watching such a clip as a midwife, you work in this health sector. How does it make you feel?
Yeah, it makes me feel bad. And to tell you, George, this is not the first story that I'm looking at. It's common. We've got many young people that are falling pregnant, and sometimes they're just abandoned, and even the parents are not supportive. They are thrown, they go to the streets. It's quite tearing, you know. And sometimes you sit and think to say, if every one of us could put our hands together, give the young people information before they could start engaging in sex, so that they know the effects. You know, teenage pregnancy also carries, risks both to the mother and to the baby. Some of them die, so there's quite a lot. So we need everyone to come on board so that we just help the young people.
Amazing. We actually have a caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, how are you?
We're good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yes, please. Do go ahead with your comment and or contribution.
I would like to say, if you know you're a teenager and you are in a relationship, it's better you try to use these abstinences, like, what's this? Like these...
Contraceptives?
Yeah, contraceptives and the other pills. Yeah, it's better to use that when you're a teenager, but it's not like it can make you not concentrate to school, always thinking about him, So yeah, it's better you just avoid relationships as you are still in school and just wait for your good time to come.
All right, thank you very much for calling, Nalwendo.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. And those are some comments from Nalwendo. And which brings me to my next question. Why has contraception historically been placed, the burden rather has been placed strongly on women as compared to men? Like, it's quite difficult, or rather I haven't heard, maybe I'm uninformed, that there are contraceptives for men. Please do enlighten us on that.
All right, that's a very wonderful question. From time immemorial, you see that women are the ones that give birth, right? But when you really look at it closely, you find that even men were participating in contraception in some ways. Why do I say so? Number one, you will see men that would practice periodic abstinence. Maybe the wife isn't okay, or maybe they've just decided to say the baby is too small, so we are not going to have sex, and they've been doing that. And then we also have some methods like condoms for men. Men can use that, and they've been doing that. And we also have procedures like vasectomy, where they cut the tubes that transport the sperm. But with the vasectomy, I think because of the myths that have been there, you find that a lot of men are shunning away from it. And that's how I feel men are not really getting on board so much. But when you look at the methods for the women, there are quite a lot. You have the pills, like what has already been mentioned, different types. You have the injectables, you have the implants, all that is for the females.
For the females, yes.
So really the man may come in, but you look at the methods, I think that is the major problem that has been there.
Now, let's take a look at some comments that are coming through from our social media. We have Gerald Lubengo, who said they're following. You have Loveness Zulu, she said, I'm following. Mwinga Besta Charity as well says the following. And George Mutangadura, I hope I got it right. But he said, yes, abstinence is most possible, and it helps with self-control, as it shows both the male and female's maturity in thinking about the consequences of their actions, whether good or bad. Good being planned pregnancies and disease prevention, and bad being the exact opposite. Melody Chisanga says, interesting conversation. Vernon Simudenda says, I'm here. Esther Kambukwe says, I'm following. Lang Sen says, following. Melody Chisanga once again says, thank you for sharing your story, or thanks for sharing your story, so inspiring. Mwinga Besta Charity as well says, inspiring story. Thank you for sharing. And once again, she says, I believe if states what she wants in a relationship and both parties agree, abstinence can be achieved. Another George coming through. We actually have 4 Georges today. Yeah. But how can we leverage information on teenage pregnancy using social media? And those are some of the comments coming off of our Diamond TV Zambia platform, and you can be able to be part of the conversation. Now, in conclusion, Madam Josephine, we just want to be able to hear your last thoughts about pregnancy prevention and abstinence, as well as contraceptives. To sum it all up, what advice would you give to that young person who's watching the show right now, who's already had their sexual debut, and now they're worried that their partner might be pregnant?
Okay, so the most important thing they can do is, first of all, not sit at home, but go to the clinic. and a test will be run to confirm whether they are pregnant or not. And if they're not pregnant, then a method of choice that they want can be given to them. Okay? Yeah, because when you look at the dangers of teenage pregnancy, like I said earlier on, you lose your school and you lose an opportunity for a good job in future, because some of them that drop out of school because of pregnancy, they're not able to go back. So they lose that opportunity. And also some of them, their families are affected in such a way that pregnancy brings a lot of complications. So when you look at the financial status of a family, it goes down. So the best thing to do is for them to go to the clinic, find out, and then a method is given to them.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us today on the show. And we have been joined by Madam Josephine 𝐀𝐤𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐥𝐥. She is a midwife and master trainer in adolescent health. Today we were looking at pregnancy prevention. You can still be able to render your comments even after the live video is done. But that was our show today, and we're just grateful that you joined us. We are hoping to have more conversations like this on the Youth Care Talk Show with you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now you could be able to catch us next week on Thursday, 14:30 to 1500 hours right here on Diamond TV for more on the Youth Care Talk Show. We hope you enjoyed this one. My name is 𝐀𝐻𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬, and we'll be with you once again for another exciting subject next week. Bye-bye.
Imagine a big stage, music and lights, people singing and dancing all day and night.
Enjoy all the nutritional benefits of real milk with Maxi-Move flavored milk, rich in calcium, vitamin D, and protein. Let Maxi move you.
Find your next go-to shows. Get an exclusive peek into the life of music legend K.O.
I implore you not to judge what you cannot see.
Celebrate the power of black culture with this 4-part special event series.
We started from nothing.
It is our time.
And join young trainees on a thrilling quest to become Pokemon masters.
Oh man!
It's all happening on your go-to place, GoTV. Love it.